Please welcome Patrick.
Good afternoon, friends and colleagues. It's my privilege this afternoon to invite you to join us for a drink on the exhibition floor. The cocktail event is co-sponsored by Fibre in celebration of our 10 years in the industry, along with the FTTX Council Africa, of which Fibre is a founding partner. Our humble journey began in the very city we find ourselves in today. Back in 1996, I was a storeman for a data cabling company, and then I was later just offered a position as a fibre trainee technician for a company that handled sort of LAN and industrial installations. Having gained some experience with that, I moved into the UK in 1999 and 2001, where I sharpened up my skills on those networks. And those were the good old days when a 240 fibre was about 25 to 30 millimeters, and today we talk of a 288 fibre just a mere 8.1 millimeters. Things have changed drastically. Fast forward a few years, and on 1 October 2008, Fibre was born. The plan was quite simple: find a quality product, focus on the distribution side, and offer excellent technical support. By some miracle at that stage, Prismium Cables and Systems, the then third largest fibre cable and connectivity maker in the world, gave us sole distribution. We could not be happier, especially with Prismium when they later acquired Draka, and Prismium Group was formed. This year, Prismium concluded yet another acquisition of General Cable and are truly a global leader in cable and connectivity. Fibre started off with a bang when we were awarded a large LNG project in Angola, and at the same time we supplied some product into a few data centers in South Africa. With the LNG project at that stage being the single largest connectivity order for Prismium, we couldn't really not have asked for a better start, and it helped put Africa on the map. Prismium Group has been a real critical element to our success. I'd like to take a moment to also recognize them for their unwavering support over the last decade. I had the privilege of dealing with Prismium since 2003, when they were still known as Pirelli Cables and Systems. As with all relationships, there are ups and downs, but they've stood by and backed Fibre all the way. Combine that with incredible ongoing technological innovation, and I can only honour this group for whom we have come so far. It's been an interesting journey, and with no manual to go to, and very few other companies out there making mistakes you can learn from, you end up paying school fees. It was the early days, and someone had to do it, and as the demand stepped up, so did our operations. In 2010, we diversified from distribution into turnkey builds, just for sort of metro and backhaul. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that's when all the fun and games began. Lots of school fees paid, as digging up the streets of the cities is certainly not for the faint-hearted. In that process, we created some wonderful showers in the streets, which was also really great car washes. We even created a pool once in someone's back garden when we hit a 110 mil water pipe, and it was pointing just in the right direction, and their wall formed a dam wall until it gave away with the whole garden filling up with water. Then there was a 2 meter deep, 2-lane wide pond that we created in the middle of Brom Fisher, just outside the Randburg fire station. We almost had a back act to go for a swim in that night, but jokes aside, I can vouch that way leaves are sometimes a mere indicator, and the information contained in it are not always that accurate. These were great but challenging years, and I certainly wouldn't wish them on my worst enemy. For a time we lost a lot of money, but then we restructured our approach to market, and then, thank the Lord, we managed to turn things around. The distribution business was really doing well, and we learned from our lessons on the turnkey side. We were on the up yet again, and this time Fibre was not looking back. So over the period of 2007 to 2013, there was a large focus on submarine cables connecting South Africa, and then those long-haul builds connecting up that international connectivity to the cities, and then Metro built to distribute that network to connect up cellular towers and businesses. In those days, building FTTH was a pipe dream, excuse the pun, and no one had believed that it made financial sense, and no one wanted to take the plunge. At VH Fibre, we've always had a strong technical ability, and new products and innovations have always really excited us. It was in 2012 at the FTTH the Europe conference in Munich that I first saw retractable cables. So there was Retractanet for outdoor use, and then there was Verticast for indoor use. I knew that this was an excellent solution, but we just didn't have the fibre to the home market in South Africa to support it. But then in 2014, I met with Neil Skuman, the CEO of an FTTH startup. We were in Amsterdam to view Retractanet being installed in the suburbs, and we both concluded that this was a solution that could work. It was then a Saturday afternoon, just shortly after this trip, just before the rugby started, that myself and a few of the VH Fibre team were sitting with Johan Pretorius and Neil Skuman in our boardroom, figuring out how to best deploy the infamous FTTH network in Parkhurst. Retractanet was the solution of choice, and in 2014 we broke ground, in August 2014. VH Fibre project managed this entire build and supplied all the fibre cable and connectivity, and this was really the watershed moment in our industry and the most exciting point in our history. The FTTH land grab had ignited, and suddenly South Africa was getting FTTH. We were grinding into first gear, and the race was on. The last 3 years have been really a blur at the speed at which FTTH has been rolled out in South Africa. The focus now is wrapping up those major metropolitan areas, and then the focus will shift to smaller towns. And these towns are actually proving to have quite high take-up rates based on the poor connectivity in those areas. So while some naysayers would keep on thinking that things were quieting down on the FTTH front, so I'd like to share or make a few points that will prove why it won't. Firstly, the announcement by Vumatel to roll out fibre connectivity at exceptional rates in the underserved areas will spark yet another land grab. The deployment being critical to get real connectivity to the majority of our population and reduce that digital divide. It will ignite e-commerce, e-health, and e-education. This will really be the next democracy in our country, when all people have equal access to resources from around the world, allowing them to empower themselves and skill themselves up. In so creating employment and improved skills, all of which impact positively on the rate of unemployment, eradicating poverty, and in turn, a positive effect on crime. So, another area I'd just like to take you to is a slide some slides that was used by Prismium in Spain recently. We all know the access area where we had fibre to the everything, and then with the on the mobile side we had fibre backhaul for transmission fibre. Then another factor that's going to change the landscape is the site densification. As we move across from LTE all the way to 5G at millimetre wave, its densification ranges, as you can see, from 10 to 20 cells per kilometre squared, right up to, some say, 150 to 300 cells per kilometre squared. Then we have IoTs. They're talking about tens of billions of devices being connected by 2022, 29 billion. 2030 estimation of about 125 billion connected devices, all creating demand on our networks. So with the densification factor, with increasing peak rates and the reliability that's required, a reliable medium, it all points to one thing, and that is more fibre to deploy. But how do we do this? I'd like to take you to one of the initiatives, the fibre architecture build. It was Verizon's One Fibre approach where they talk about multi-purpose. Fibre as converged multi-purpose architecture instead of the traditional purpose-built fibre. High fibre count, cost-effective deployments by multiplying strands of fibres in deployed cables, and then future-looking dense fibre infrastructure for mobile, embracing not just the mobile network but the enterprise, small businesses, and preparing that ubiquity ground for future smart cities. So then comes in the fibre density factor. Yeah, we're talking about the number of fibres packed in per millimetre squared. So we talk about massive being leverage on the empty space, any construction work packing as many fibres as possible into cables for future use in the fibre ubiquitous world. We then talk about smart, achieving record compactness in cables to leverage on those rights of ways for fibre connections without major construction, and of course the costs and disruptions that are associated with that. Then we talk about quick, speeding up that deployment, time for fast and efficient service provisioning. But in this all, bend-in sensitive resilient fibres are going to be crucial to succeed. These are just some of the densities that Prismium have achieved. Some of these cable sizes records have been smashed already, but the biggest cable so far that's been deployed is a 2,112 fibre. There we're talking about 4.8 fibres per millimetre squared. And then when we talk about the multi-loose tube type cable constructions in mini cables, we've got 5.6 millimetres per squared, and that's a 288 fibre in 8.1 millimetres. And the great thing, there's more to come, and there's records to be broken there. With this dense fibre and these dense cable requirements, we need to pack as many fibres into enclosures and connectivity. So we need flexibility, whether it be retracting-net on the bottom left, where you can tap out of a cable and connect up various points as and when required. And then you also talk about the flex tube elements. When we talk about the elements that fibres are packed into, we need flexibility in that, and they need to be compact so we can pack them into joints. In picture number 1, you can see a flex tube type cable packed away neatly in a loop storage. And then on the right hand side, you've got diagram number 2, or image number 2, where you've got the old PBT type elements which are just popping out of its seams all over the place. So with the new designs and cables, we're able to pack a lot more fibres into existing size joints. Then the next factor that's going to change our landscape in terms of fibre is the radio access network evolution. Moving from a distributed RAN to a virtualized RAN. In diagram number 1, we've got the distributed RAN architecture, the sort of legacy type network where you've got a central office connected to your centralized units and your distribution units at the BTS stations with backhaul. Currently ongoing, we have the centralized units in a centralized RAN architecture moving to the central office, and you've got your front haul of fibre connecting up your BTSs. Then in the near future, we're going to be moving, or the market is going to be moving, to centralized virtual RAN. And this is basically virtualization of the central units. Basically, we're talking about servers, or software-based applications, where multiple operators can operate with one network. So you can have neutral host operators serving multiple service providers. That's where we're moving to. But to do this too, we require some slightly different looking cables. We're going to be looking at smart hybrid cable solutions. So we're talking about fibres in the cable, conductors in the cable for remote powering these points, and remote powering the equipment at the BTS side. And we come up with a cable with copper conductors and fibre inside, one cable that you can blow into microducts. So those are things that we're going to be seeing on our market fairly shortly. Then the last slide, I know everybody needs a drink. The last slide just shows you some history. This is a global view, moving from the 1989, moving from the long distance era, through the long distance era, to the middle section being the access era, into the ubiquity era that we're sitting in today. And if you look at the bottom, if you're looking at the bottom, graph, the sort of reddish looking color, that represents FTTX. We're sitting at 2018, around about here, and we're sitting at our peak on the FTTX side in South Africa, but as you can see, it doesn't drop off very much over the next few years. There's still substantial growth in that and a lot of work to be done. The next color above that, the green color, is the long distance network. Now, as I said, we're moving into some of those outer lying towns and regions, and there's a lot of long distance work that still needs to be done. I think the exciting part that ties into the densification side of things is the purple color above that, which represents your local metro. Now, that shows significant growth in the amount of work that's got to be done on the local and metro side. That is a lot of operators who have large sort of transmission rings that now need to be broken up into smaller rings to cover all the things that need to be connected up in the future. Then you just have cable operators and others above that, but as you can see, the trend is still on an exponential growth, and the edge of the cliff is not that near. This all proves to provide the fibre industry with an exciting next decade of fibre deployment. Changing the subject a bit, over the last 2 years, VH Fibre has developed a few of our own connectivity products. And when a client has a specific requirement, supported by large volumes, and the current market doesn't have that exact solution, we custom design the product, and this product is injection molded locally. This has helped us be a leader as VH in the innovative solutions, and the volumes have actually turned out to be staggering. So if you can't find what you're looking for, please come chat to us. VH Fibre is incredibly excited and honored to be part of this industry and play a small part in building these next generation networks. And we look forward to actively participate in this industry we call home. I really, from the bottom of my heart, would like to thank each and every one of you who have contributed to our success over the last decade. We are incredibly humbled by your support, your continued support. We look forward to the next decade. So for those of you who don't know us, please come visit us at our stand. And for our existing customers, please keep in contact as we have a few exciting new products and solutions coming out to support this new fibre and mobile era of connectivity. And ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to invite you for a drink with us on the network floor. And just before I close, is there any questions?
Any questions to Patrick? We're going to ask the questions at the drinks.
I just want to congratulate VH Fibre and Patrick for 10 years in the industry. I met Patrick many years ago in a small little boardroom somewhere. I think it was at DFA. They hosted us. We came together and we decided we're going to start this industry association, and this is one of the people that always takes a call, that always puts a hand up, that have supported this industry association, that have helped it grow. He has been there through thick and thin with us. Congratulations, Patrick. You've built an incredible company and you're an incredible person.
Thank you.
Well done.